coast to coast. What you missed in the first go around was a really, really in-depth discussion of denim jackets. All you need to know is that Jason makes it look fly, and now I have to reconsider everything I hold true to my heart. We're going to get into the news. We're going to talk about our master plans for the Niners offseason. We're going to talk about what we really think Kyle Shanahan is going to do. But first, let's address the news on the proper live stream. Thank you very much, and thanks for the people who let me know that I blew it. All right, Carson Wentz got traded. It's a third this year. It's a conditional 2 that could be a 1. What do you think? Should the Niners have made this trade?
Yeah, again, I mean, it really boils down to what do the 49ers really think about Carson Wentz, because the second and the third really doesn't feel like anything at all, especially, when we were just talking before, Philly has a chance to turn this into a 1 if Carson Wentz plays 16 games, which I don't know if that'll happen, but, look, if they coveted Wentz, in that way, and they were asking for a second and a third, I don't see why you wouldn't make this move if you really wanted him to be there, when you could, So, I mean, for the Eagles, they hold on to all that dead cap money, but they get out of it, as well, too. So, I mean, it's really not a bad deal on their part either, really. I think this was, really what should have happened from the beginning with them. But if the 49ers could have sent a second and a third for Carson Wentz, that's easy, and it seems like it's not much, especially for somebody with the upside that Carson Wentz possesses.
Yeah, if Carson Wentz were on his rookie deal like Sam Darnold, I'd be cool with this trade. The reason I don't think it's a good fit for the Niners is twofold. One, I don't think they can afford to give him money like that. He's still giving him $25 million, and I think Indy can do that because they always have a ton of cap space, if I'm not wrong. They've I don't know. It just seems like they have more wiggle room there. Also, the idea, Carson Wentz really wasn't very good last year. He got hit a lot. He got hit a lot. And I think any type of projection for him revitalizing his career would have to be behind a kick-ass offensive line. And the Niners don't exactly have that. Indy has that. They've made it their business. So it makes sense for Indy. I don't think it made sense for the Niners. I think it was smart for the Niners to be spectators and let Indy do it, is all I'm saying. So it was the right move for everyone involved.
Right. And again, it all boils down to what they thought. I mean, obviously they didn't think that he was going to be the upgrade, right? For that draft capital, that's nothing. So obviously they evaluated and they said, nah, we're good. So, I mean, that's good on them.
It's interesting that Indianapolis went for Wentz instead of someone like Jimmy Garoppolo, although it's his former coach. So there's a connection there. Yeah. It makes sense, right?
Right. I mean, it all fits, like you said, offensive line, play caller, pieces, and they're in position to win now. So I mean, yeah, this seemed like the fit the entire time.
Okay, so let's look at it from another angle that has to do with the Niners, and this is, I think, more relevant. Does this deal sort of reveal what Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value is right now?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if Carson Wentz, who once put together an MVP season, regardless of his mishaps, which last year, look, some of it was Wentz, some of it was personnel, some of it was coaching. It was all a perfect, it
was everything.
Storm. Right. Yes. It was everything. Right. So, all of that contributed. So, if you're looking at it like this, Jimmy Garoppolo's never approached that MVP type season that Carson Wentz has had. And I think, that his value has been depressed because of what happened last year and his injury concerns. So, if they're getting a second and a third for Wentz, I don't think that the 49ers would ever sniff anything like that for Carson Wentz. And that's really what is more revealing here for me.
Well, hold on. Let me just bring up Carson Wentz's numbers and compare them to Jimmy just for the sake of it. Just for the sake. Because I agree that Carson Wentz is probably worth more than Jimmy. But I'm not sure how much. So let's see. First of all, Wentz is 28. Jimmy's 29. Wentz in that one season in 2017, that was a hell of a year. He threw 33 touchdown passes, 7 picks. His rating was 101. The rating the next year was 102. Jimmy in his amazing 2019, his rating was 102. So in a sense, if you just look at the numbers, they both have had that kind of 1 year where their box score looked really nice. They both went 13-3 that year. I think you can make the argument that if Philly got a 3 and a conditional 2, that the Niners might be able to get close to that for Jimmy G, or should push for it.
From where? That's another thing. Now only is it not just the picks, it's now who are the suitors now, right? Because the only people that you can really think of right now would probably be Chicago and New England, if that's even the case, which Bill has already been on record saying he doesn't want.
Chicago and New England too.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and now, do you think that those guys, after seeing what happened with Wentz, because apparently the Bears were never in on Wentz really either. Like, that's what's coming out now. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But that's kind of telling that if they weren't in on Wentz, like, what's the plan here? Are you bringing back Trubisky? Are you, so where it whittles down the suitors for Jimmy quickly.
Agree.
And that's really what it is.
Right. I still think it's going to end up being New England. For the obvious reason. I just think it's New England takes their time and doesn't want to give up too much, and it's a little dance you got to do. I also think Mac Jones kind of complicates the matter because that's a Saban guy. Saban and Belichick are tight. If Saban likes him, if Belichick likes him, there's a lot of similarities between Mac Jones and a young Jimmy, in my opinion. And if Belichick, maybe he feels, I'll just take Mac Jones at 14 and I won't give the Niners what they want for Jimmy. It's possible the Niners might have to draft Mac Jones themselves. I don't know. We can talk about that later, but I think it's possible. A 3 and a conditional 2 isn't a lot. It seems like that's the kind of move the Patriots would do because, again, they could say, well, we beat the Niners on that deal. We got a 2 from them and ended up getting Jimmy back for 3 and a conditional. So I don't know. Maybe a 3 and a conditional 3?
I don't know. I mean, honestly,
if they could get it, they should say yes. Agree?
Yeah, I mean, if they can, it just felt like the Eagles were like, yeah, we're just going to be steadfast and wait for our 1. And then they found out after receiving all those calls, that's not even in the cards anymore, bro. So, right. You can want what you want, but when the market reveals itself, you're going to have to make tough decisions, and you're probably going to likely have to take less than anything you ever thought you would get for him.
Less than what you probably could have got last year. I just feel like this deal today shows why the Niners are hanging on to Jimmy G. I think not because they think they can win a Super Bowl with him anymore, but because they're hoping they can get this deal right here. This one, the 3 with the deal with the future pick that might become a 1, and then you could be like, nice, we won the deal. Maybe. I think that's what they're holding out hope for, and who knows if they can get it. I don't know. I think this just explains why they're waiting.
Absolutely.
Because they're so like, yeah, Jimmy's fine, but we're keeping him. Jimmy's okay, but he's our guy. Like,
I mean, he's a safety net. He's a safety net. At the end of the day, they can always just say, "Hey, look, we told you we weren't in on him. We told you we weren't down on him. We told you that we weren't looking at anybody else. Look, they've set this all up perfectly. Okay. So they can do whatever they want at this point."
Okay, so we may see what the Niners are hoping they get for Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's get to the meat of the show now and talk about Jason's master plan for the offseason. You know what I want to do? I've been talking about it for a week. I want to go with the build up everything besides the quarterback plan. That's my wild idea. Jason pretty much has the opposite idea, which is one of the main reasons I'm bringing him on the show. I want to get an opposing viewpoint and see if I like it. I'm sure I will because Jason's really smart. So, Jason, what do you want to do?
So at first, when you asked me this question, however many weeks ago when the Watson stuff broke, it's like, okay, everything for Watson. Everything for Watson. We're going to do that. Now, I've kind of changed my stance on that only because now I kind of see the path to a franchise quarterback being in the draft. I think at this point right now, what's happening with Watson is 2 things. One, the Texans are doing exactly what we said they would be doing, and they're just going to hold him hostage for as long as they can and not answer any calls, which puts the 49ers in this predicament. Do you sit around and you wait to try to see if you can peel Deshaun Watson? Or do you go ahead and you go make a move for a guy up high in the draft who you can keep on a rookie contract? And that's really where I'm at right now at this point. Yeah. You can trade 12, 102, a 1 from next year, and maybe a 2. Maybe throw in another 3rd down the line and move up. And move up to 3, I think, with Miami. So you have to notice the way things have been playing out, right?
Hold on, say that again because Miami's that's 2,200 points. The Niners are at 1,200 points at 12. So let's really do this. What'd you say?
Yeah.
What's it going to be? 12.
102.
102 is I think we got 107.
10. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's 80. Yeah, so they're at 1,280.
2022 first.
Okay, that's 600. So that now you're at 18.
A 2022 2022 third.
That's a 2022 third. That's about 100 points. I'm telling you, man, it's tough. It's tough to get there with picks. I like the idea I'm not against the idea of Fields, but I'm here to basically test your theory, and you're here to do the same for me.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is to get to 3, it might be easier to trade a player. Would you consider it?
So it depends on the player. Okay. Now here's the thing.
Who are the players on the Niners who could get you number 3?
It's the same 3 that Mayoko named. Kittle, Bosa, Warner.
You think Warner could get it? I don't know if
Warner can, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay. Kittle and Bosa for sure, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And
so we got that on the table.
Let me make sure I say this clearly, even though there's somebody right by my window that's doing snow because it's a huge blizzard, just in case.
Okay.
If you're asking me to choose between Kittle and Bosa, I love George Kittle, but you got to go, buddy. I'm sorry.
Okay. So let me ask you: Would you trade Kittle to the Dolphins for the number 3 pick?
Just straight up that?
Yes. Yes. Let me tell you something. I would too.
Yes.
I would.
Yes.
Okay. So look, and then from there on out, I think I would probably trade down. I'll get into my thing later. You just trade Kittle straight up to the Dolphins for number 3. I would do that. And I think the Dolphins would do it too, because they're in a position where they may not want to take a quarterback. They may still believe in Tua, and maybe they feel, let's give them someone. Should it be Kyle Pitts, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase? People we like, but we don't really know about. I mean, Devontae Smith looks like he's 15 years old. Jamar Chase hasn't played any years. There's a limited sample size there, and Kyle Pitts isn't proven like Kittle is. Maybe they might go for that.
The other thing is that nobody wants – see, this is the thing about the whatever it takes stuff, right? Whether it's Watson or whether it's moving up. Nobody wants to move Kittle, Bosa, or Warner. Nobody wants to do that. But tough decisions require tough decisions. Okay. So if you're asking me, look, I know I love George Kittle, favorite player on the team. I love him. But I understand that him going is less of a loss than Nick Bosa going. You imagine being able to have –
less of a loss than 5 future picks. Because, again, he's 28 and he's missed time.
Right. And imagine Justin Fields is cost-friendly and you get to keep Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. I don't see how you can say no to that. And I love George Kittle. George, if you're watching this, please don't hate me. This is a hypothetical.
Yeah, we're proposing this because we hold you in such high regard. You're that good. To be able to go from a 5th-round pick in 2017 to a player who coming off a season where he missed half of it could get you the 3rd pick in the draft. What a testament to your work ethic and improvement.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, we're not taking shots. This is just, man, you're that. It's either you and Bosa. I think you could argue that Bosa and Kittle are top 5 players in the league, regardless of position. That's the only reason they're in this discussion. I don't even think Warner could get it done. I think if you offered Warner for the number 3 pick, Dolphins are like, yeah, he's great. But I mean, that's not what we need. I'm sorry. Great player. We can't do that.
Let me also say that I don't think that they would take Kittle for that position right there. Like, no way. Like, that's not going to happen. So, I mean, again, a hypothetical we're throwing out there, but there's no way Miami says, yeah, just give us Kittle. We'll give you 3. But, if you're asking me of them, it would be him because of the reasons that I outlined about him being less of a loss towards his team than Nick Bosa was.
And then real quick, what would you do at 12? After you got, I mean, let's say you keep all the picks, you trade Kittle 1 for 1.
Get 3 and you
get 12.
You get 3 and you keep 12. Woo.
Yes, that's a nice plan. What would you do?
What I do there is I do either Patrick Surtain or whichever cornerback is best on the board. It's time to finally address it. For you to get a franchise quarterback and then a cornerback who's going to be there for a while, and both of them are cost controlled. Come on, that's a no brainer.
Raphael just gave a very generous donation. Thank you so much. And his question is right up our alley, basically thinking along the lines we're thinking, but even more aggressive and bold, which is cool. Please make a thorough analysis of trading with Jacksonville for the number 1 pick. Niners need this, free up cap, cut JG, re-sign everyone, blah, blah, blah. I like it. Okay, let's make a thorough analysis. We just determined that maybe Kittle gets you the number 3 pick. I still think Bosa gets you the number 2 pick. Those are 2 mega trade picks, mega trade pieces, and you got the number 12. Is there any combination of those 3 things that could get you to number 1? And do you like Trevor Lawrence that much that you would do it?
I don't. And here's why. Look, I think that we can all agree that Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 quarterback. But the gap between him, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields, for me, isn't as large or as stated as everyone else says. So if it was a case of, let's just say, for S's and giggles, right? Josh Allen is we know that Josh Allen is in this draft, right? And he's the one. And then there's Sam Darnold behind him as number 2. That's a large gap.
Right.
That's not the large gap between Lawrence, Fields, and Wilson. That's why I would have a problem with this. If it was a large gap, can't miss, no doubt, you're getting Patrick Mahomes type, something like that. Yes. But I believe that we could look down the line from this draft and see that any one of these three guys, including Trey, any one of these four guys could be the best quarterback out of this entire draft, man. And that's possible. So that's why I couldn't see myself clear of doing that one.
Yeah, I think this is a good transition to my master plan, and I'm going to run it by you and tell me what you think. No, I wouldn't do this either. What I want to do is get not the first pick in this draft. I'm trying to get 3 or 4 of the top 10. And I don't know if it's ever been done in NFL history, but that's what I'm shooting for. And I'm going to run my plan by you and let's see if we can make this happen, and tell me where the plan is, faulty or leaky or doesn't hold water, because we got to take this seriously, because this is what I'm putting my reputation behind. So this is what I want to do. I want to trade Bosa and Kittle. Not just one. But I'm not trading them for one. Like you want to trade Kittle for one pick, or you be into that. And I'd be into that too. But I'd be more into trading Kittle, trading down and turning him into 2. Trading Bosa, trading down, turning him into 2. And the reason I'm choosing these 2 guys is because they have the most trade value on the team, and they both have missed some time. And I feel like now is an interesting time to trade them, because if they come back and miss more time, you're not gonna have the same asset. They're not gonna be worth as much. Now, I think they could be worth every bit of what they were worth last year, maybe.
Yeah.
So I want. Okay, go. Yes.
No, that's a good point, honestly. And I read your article about it, with the Bosa thing, and that's a concern, right? Second ACL tear, was his first year the exception or the rule? These are all things that you should be pondering in your head, right. Like honestly at this point, with him.
He might come back and play 16 games and kill it and rebuild his value and show that he's a cornerstone player, or he might come back, get hurt again, be a little bit diminished, and you're like, man, I should have traded him when I had the chance.
Or like you said, be on a snap count. Not be the be a situational guy.
That's what happened to Ohio State when he came back. I mean, he was a snap count guy first. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair assessment. It's just that I don't have enough information myself to really make a valid, at least, thought. I don't know my thought process on that, because I can't tell injury history, and I'm not going to try to predict.
It's true. No, I'm just basically shorting these guys. I'm just like, I'm betting against them. So let's see what. But at the same time, I'm saying I only want to get rid of them for like premium assets, because they are really great. So I'm going to call up Robert Saleh and say, look, I'm Kyle Shanahan right now. Robert, you don't want Zach Wilson. You don't want Justin Fields. They're no good. I'm lying. Yeah, they're no good. They're no good. You have Sam Darnold. He's great. Stick with him. Let me trade you Nick Bosa. You and Nick Bosa are a championship combo. All I want is the number 2 pick. Do you think there's that? Well, that's my plan. I want the number 2 pick from Saleh, and I think Saleh would actually seriously consider it. That's where I start. Is that a reasonable start? I don't know if the Jets would actually say yes, but I'm calling.
It is. I mean, the only thing is I love hypotheticals and the talk. It's just I get the feeling that the Jets are locked in on Zach Wilson. Like it's just locked. It's locked and loaded at this point.
Possible.
Yeah.
Like, okay. In which case, none of this can happen. No. Right. In which case, I call the Dolphins. That's my next call.
That's why it's always felt like the Dolphins for me. Like that's why it's always been get to 3. Get to 3, just make sure, because you want to make sure that you get your guy, honestly. And that's why Miami makes the most sense, right? So it's funny how all this stuff comes out. All of a sudden, Miami's like, oh, we're good with Tua. Oh, we're shopping the 3rd pick. It's like all that stuff is coming out because they're trying to tell people, look, come talk to us about the 3rd pick, and we'll do it. That's the thing.
So I'm calling. So let me just lay it out real quick. The whole pie in the sky plan where everyone accepts my trade offers because they work on the trade value charts, and they just want to help me out. So I trade Bosa for number 2. I trade down to number 4. Okay, because Atlanta wants a quarterback. I trade down to number 4. I get Atlanta's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's where I'm at. With that trade capital, I take Atlanta's 2, the 12th pick, trade up to 5, because let's say Cincinnati missed out on Sewell. I take him at 4. They're like, well, we'll move back, take Rashawn Slater or something like that. So now I got 4 and 5 for Bosa plus a 3. That's the start. I've talked about that before. Now I come back with Kittle. Same thing. I call Miami, offer him Kittle for number 3. They say yes because they love me and they love Kittle. Now that Philadelphia needs a quarterback, I think they really do. They can't go into the season with Jalen Hurts as the unquestioned starter.
They're going to draft
I trade down from 3 to 6 with them, and I pick up their 2nd round pick. And here's what I do now. I got 4, 5, and 6 in the top 10. I could stop there. That would be amazing. But I'm going to try one more thing to get back into the top 10. I got my 2, Philly's 2, Philly's 3, Atlanta's 3. I could offer that plus maybe a 5th round pick to Dallas at 10, Denver at 9. Who knows? Maybe they don't say it, or maybe they want 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 5 to move down. And now I got 4, 5, 6, and 9. And what I would do is I wouldn't take a quarterback. I would go Sewell, Devontae Smith, or Jamar Chase, either one. I might go Smith, Pitts, and then Surtain at 9. That's what I would do. I would turn Kittle and Bosa into Sewell, Surtain, Pitts, and Devontae Smith. That's my plan. I don't know if it happened. That's my plan.
Yeah. No, and then run it back with Jimmy.
No. Cut Jimmy.
Okay.
Cut Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Run it back with Trent Williams. And my quarterback would be a guy I'd take in round 3. Whoever's available between Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. I would keep Josh Rosen. I would bring back Nick Mullins, and I would sign a vet, whether it be, Fitzpatrick, Dalton, whoever, and have a 4-way competition for 3 spots. An open competition for the quarterback spot, and be like, you know what? I'm giving you the best supporting cast in the world. Whoever wins this should be good enough. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's really interesting. You put a lot of thought into it. I'll give you that. I will give you that. That wasn't something that you definitely didn't come up with that right now. Like, no.
I'll take that compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's well thought out. Sometimes you can see when somebody's trying to work through it in their mind, but you definitely weren't. You had that, but no.
I want to turn each guy into 2 top 10 picks. That's the only way I feel like you can stomach it.
Look, think about this. Sewell's a cornerstone. You bring back Trent. Now that offensive line looks so much better. Kyle Pitts, can effectively take George Kittle's position as the receiving tight end. He won't offer the blocking upside, but that's just not how he's supposed to be used. Mm-hmm. And then Surtain is exactly what, I outlined as like a guy that you can have as a corner for probably a large portion of his career, which is something the 49ers haven't had since anyone, like Eric Davis. Like, seriously, like how many guys have they brought around that have stuck around at cornerback? So not a bad deal.
Devontae Smith too.
Yeah, and Devontae Smith and the Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah. So now you're looking at Ayuk, Debo, and Devontae Smith.
Right, and you don't have to worry about Debo's hamstring. Debo is gravy, and he might be your best wide receiver.
With Kyle Pitts, good gosh, man, I don't see. And then any quarterback.
I'm thinking if Josh Rosen has anything going for him behind that offensive line, it's like he should be decent. He should be pretty good. I don't know. And if it's not enough, you could get. I like some guys in the mid rounds too.
I like this one. This is a good one. This isn't bad. It's just.
I like yours too.
But again, do they listen to the quality control coach? Is this like
only to a point? This is me really trying to like now I'm trying to be the general manager, the assistant general manager.
Yeah.
But they should at least think about it. I think we've both decided that the Niners' best trade chips are number 85 and number 97, and it would be painful, but they present some very interesting scenarios, those two. So you got to at least have meetings.
That's the problem, guys. Like tough trades, big trades, they require sacrifice, and that's the issue. Again, nobody wants to trade these guys, but if you are Miami, if you are Houston or whoever is trying to be a trade partner with the 49ers, why wouldn't you ask about these guys first? And that's just good business. So, that's all. That's what I wanted to put as a cap on all this, actually.
CJ says we already got a first-round pick who is only 23, good arm, needs development like any other quarterback. You're preaching to the choir. But I see where you're coming from too. You're like, instead of like hoping that Josh Rosen turns it all around and the whole league was wrong about him and he was just waiting on the practice squad and the Niners found gold, why don't you just get someone legit? That's fair. It's just that to me, 3 years ago, people felt Rosen was legit. Yeah. They did.
I mean, that's the thing though, is that, the Kyler Murray thing has rushed everyone's process now. Now everyone is like, you got 1 year. And that's it,
Yes.
Think about if Buffalo would have cut the line on Josh Allen after year 1. Like, dude, this guy can't hit anybody. He throws them into the seats. Yeah. Year 3, look at him. So that's the thing. Is the Rosen Murray thing has changed the way people have thought about quarterbacks. Like, general managers from the 70s are punching the air at the idea of you drafting a quarterback and then getting rid of him and drafting another quarterback the year after. Like, this isn't how the old guard does things at all.
It's not. Yeah. Okay. So we've just given you our master plans, and both of them were just phenomenal. They were brilliant. Now we want to talk. Let's get back to reality because probably those aren't going to happen. Mm-hmm. What do we think Kyle Shanahan's going to do? And actually, let me just ask the question directly. Do we think Kyle Shanahan's going to fall in love with Mac Jones and take him with the 12th pick? Why not?
He could.
He could.
I can see it. I can see it. I know the comp is, Jimmy and everything with Mac. Like, I'm not high on Mac.
I've seen Kirk Cousins comp too because he's got the downfield throw.
What I was going to throw out there. I think his ceiling is Kirk Cousins at his max.
Yes.
When you see now, like, I have to change my thought process, right? Because I wasn't big on Mac. But now if you're telling me that his ceiling could be Kirk Cousins, that is a viable starter in this league. That is somebody who's played very well the last 2 years, whether 49ers fans want to hear that or not. It's just the truth. The stats in the film line up, and it's been that way for a while. It's just that Kirk's a dork. Again, that's it. That's all you don't like about Kirk. So will Kyle Shanahan fall in love with Mac Jones? It's possible. I am afraid that he will. I'll be honest with you.
I think he will.
Look.
That's my prediction.
Kyle doesn't want you off script. He wants you to make plays when things break down, but he doesn't want you off script. Mac Jones isn't going to be off script.
Right.
And
I think that's why he was actually, in my opinion, he was an upgrade over Tua at Alabama. Because what Alabama, they evolve. And for the last few years, they've been recruiting unreal wide receivers. And they don't really need a quarterback like Jalen Hurts or Tua to like hold the ball a while and then wait. They just need a guy like to drop back and let it rip. And what Mac Jones does is he throws the ball. He's decisive. He hits his back foot and lets it go. And he throws with anticipation. And his receivers are so great that it's definitely the right approach at Alabama. Only thing about him, I've been watching his film, and I actually like him more than I did watching him on TV. But he plays the game. He plays football in a rocking chair, if you know what I mean. He's chilling. Right. And when the pocket closes in, not when it collapses, but just when it closes in, I think he freaks out a little bit. And he's like, I'm not used to this. This is like there's pressure. Like, no, that's not pressure. That's an NFL pocket. And sometimes, like when he has like a free rusher on a blitz, he's fine. He'll stand in there and take the hit. But just when things kind of close in, he's not used to it, and that scares me. Because, dude, you're coming to the Niners. Good. You're just going to be every play.
If he's drafted at 12, this fan base is going to rip itself apart, honestly, at this point. It's just – look, again, quarterbacks are historically overdrafted because they're quarterbacks. Now you toss in COVID and everything that's happened this year as far as scouting goes and everything, and now guys have to really make decisions based on their gut, and that's why you're going to see Mac Jones go very high. And whether he fulfills that or whether he doesn't. Because remember, it's one thing to say Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins, but he was drafted in the third round?
Fourth.
That's fine.
Fourth, yeah.
As a starting quarterback who's thrown for 4 bands the last 2 years and has played as well as he has, forget the contract, throw all that out. He's a 4th-round quarterback. Can't really ask more than that. Now, Mac Jones might be a victim of his own overdrafting. Remember, I don't kill Solomon Thomas for getting drafted at 3. He didn't draft himself there. But those expectations are still there. When you're drafted at 3, you need to be a blue chip player right off the bat. And that's the thing. And that's what Mac Jones will have to deal with if he's taking a 12.
See, to me, when what's going to happen is people are going to look at him and be like, look, here's what Saban's going to pitch him this way to Belichick. Look, man, he's Jimmy Garoppolo, but young Jimmy without the torn ACL and a deep ball. He's perfect for your offense. And I think Belichick's going to agree. And I think Kyle really sees himself as Belichick Jr. And if Belichick likes Mac Jones and would consider him at 14, then I think Kyle would consider him at 12. And here's the thing. If the Niners want to trade Jimmy G back to New England, they got to take Mac Jones or help someone else does. Because if New England gets Mac Jones, there goes your market, right? It's gone. It's over. That's another reason to fear that this is going to happen.
This is like what's going on. Like the Watson thing has put the 49ers in a spot where it's like, now do you sit around and wait for Watson and hope that he comes loose, or do you wait for draft day and try to move up? Things are so fluid that if you wait, and the 49ers have done this, right? The waiting game. If you wait, the best laid plans of mice and men, it's usually not going to happen, especially with this crazy offseason that we're probably, in store for. Now that we found out that the floor of the salary cap is going to be what, 185?
Yeah.
So that's the floor. That means that teams are going to have to cut people. There's going to be a lot of movement. Like, this offseason is about to be insane. So the 49ers have to sit back and either play this methodically or wind up losing out on everything and then just running it back with Jimmy in a spot, whether that's what they really want to do or don't. That's still the most realistic option at this point, honestly. And that's tough to say out loud, but it is.
It's just so easy for Shanahan to do this. It's harder to trade Kittle for the number 3 pick and take a quarterback. That's a lot of pressure. That guy has to be good. It's easy for Shanahan to sit back in 12 and be like, I'm keeping the same team, blaming Jimmy Garoppolo for everything and bringing in another quarterback and telling him that, look, the offensive line really isn't that bad. Mike McGlinchey's good. I don't want to hear it. Don't believe what you hear on Twitter.
Exactly how to throw those in there. See, the thing is this. Here's why I'm much more optimistic that it won't be Mac Jones. I really think that, because of the quarterback collective ties to Justin Fields and everything as well, that I think that Kyle knows that Justin Fields has the higher upside, than anybody. And I think that that's the only thing that's going to keep me from jumping off the bridge and thinking that he's going to fall in love with Mac Jones, because I think he's got enough time with Justin Fields that he understands that they're different, and they are. So, and I hope that's what it is.
All right, let's forget about trying to guess which quarterback Kyle Shanahan is going to fall in love with, i.e. Mac Jones. Which quarterback in this draft have you fallen in love with now that you've been watching these guys for months? Because I know who I have.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been vocal about my Trey Lance support. Before we talked, I said that this draft is probably the most fun draft to try to digest and everything, and we're going to have a blast looking back on it because – as I said, Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback 1, but the gap isn't far. And if I find out that Zach Wilson is going to be better than him, down the line, I wouldn't be surprised. Same thing with Justin Fields. So Justin Fields is the guy that I've really fallen in love with, man. I understand decision-making, right? Sometimes he's a little slow off of his reads. He's definitely not a one-read quarterback at all. What I see is a guy who, like Watson, can make plays with his legs, has a cannon of an arm. And you know what? He didn't win the national championship game, but he played his ass off while he had bruised ribs, or broken ribs. I just, the more and more that I dig into him and I watch his film and I watch these throws and I watch him off schedule, make plays and things like that, I'm starting to fall more in love with him. And I see him like, listen, if you're not going to get Deshaun Watson, get the guy who's comped at Deshaun Watson for less of the price, way less. You get Justin Fields, you can bring back Trent Williams, Jason Verrett, Jerry Rice, Ricky Waters. You bring back everybody at that point because of all the money you're saving, and that's really where I'm at with it too. You can build this roster better if you go get Justin Fields for a fraction of the cost. You can bring back all of the things that will help him develop quicker, which is a better team.
How far up do you think you'd have to go to get him? 3?
He's got to go. You got to go to 3 because if you don't, then if even if Miami sits at 3 and they don't take him, he's gone at 4. And I don't think you're going to be able to pry him away from Atlanta. That's not going to happen. So, and let's not forget, the Panthers are all in this as well, too. Again, when I was at the Senior Bowl and you heard Matt Rule talk, Matt Rule was talking nothing but quarterbacks. And it's been clear that they've been in on almost everybody. Stafford, Watson, all of them. So they're lurking. Yes. There's competition there. So you can't sit around and just say, they
might be the team that trades up. That's true.
Right. So this is another thing you need to put in your mind. Other teams are thinking the way that you are. And if you get Matt Rule, that quarterback, that offense is going to go to 10. And he knows that. So
honestly, in my master plan this morning when I was putting it together, the original trade down partner from 3 after giving Kittle to the Dolphins was Carolina. Trade down to 8. And then when the Philly thing happened, I was like, oh, that's a natural. Trade down to 3 with Philly. That's a natural. But either one. I mean, that's the thing. If you trade to 3, you could talk to the Eagles at 6 and Carolina at 8 and have a bidding war. I mean, there's so many options the Niners could do. They really need to consider getting into the top 10 of this draft because there are some prospects that I think are no doubt Pro Bowlers.
Right.
And the Niners need to, no offense, but they got to get some of these injury guys off the team because there's a lot of them. There's so many of them. They got to get some young dudes who haven't been under the knife yet. Sorry.
Yep. And then they cost less. That's it. It's just all about roster construction, man. If you're telling me that I can get somebody like Justin Fields with the upside of him and I can bring back Jason Verrett and Trent Williams and all those guys and possibly, beef up other positions, that might need it, maybe get a third receiver to upgrade over Kendrick Bourne and things like that. You have to think about it that way. You can extend your Super Bowl window if you get Justin Fields. You can extend it and open it up because then there's all this money to pay these people. And if the cap continues to go up, you're doing good business the right way. Young quarterback who's not costing you anything, and you're building the team the right way around him so he can succeed. I just don't see how the 49ers can not explore this option all the way to its last. They need to be in on this the entire way.
Final question for Fields. Follow up. Give me like a pro comp for him. What is your pro comp?
It's Watson, I think. I think it's Watson. Yeah, I really do. I think it's Watson just because of, like I said, the similarities with his legs and that arm. You know, I've seen Cam floated out there. I don't like that comp because Cam wasn't accurate. Cam was never accurate. I can see accuracy in Justin Fields, you know, and I can see him. Look, the arm, okay, arm maybe is the same, right? Like, because Cam has a cannon. But it's all about putting it where you need to put it. And that's really where that comp like kind of falls short for me.
Look, I don't want to argue with you because you're my guy. I just want to ask you because I happen to be a little lower on Fields.
Yeah.
And I guess what I would ask is when I hear the comps for Newton and Watson, but those dudes won the national championship.
They did.
And Fields didn't. And it's like he was at Ohio State. So it's not like he was working with a competitive disadvantage. And so that's one. The other thing is, was it 20 career starts? Mm-hmm. Same thing for Trask and Jones. All these guys, and it's partially because of COVID.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. I think Watson had more starting experience. So what do you say to that?
See, that's fair. You know, Watson won the Natty and everything as well too. But you know,
because if you're selling Shanahan on trading up to number 3 for a guy, you have to address these things.
Right. Well, look, Vince Young won the Natty. Tim Tebow won a natty.
True.
Yeah, I really, you know, honestly, that part I really don't put too much stock into because again, broken ribs. The guy still played well in that game.
That's a good point.
And Alabama was really good, man. Like, let's not also, you know. So, I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Yes, the winner thing is a big thing, you know, and you want that, but plenty of guys that won national championships that have gone on to do nothing. So,
good point. Okay, let me tell you my quarterback that I like. That I've actually, because it was Kyle Trask for a long time. And I really do like Kyle Trask. I think.
Are you coming out right now? Like, is this now? Like right now?
I'm coming out right now with. I said it yesterday, and I'm going to write an article later today. I don't think Twitter's going to roast me so hard. Marco Martinez is going to get me, man. But it's Kellen Mond, man. I love Kellen Mond from Texas A&M, and my comp for him is Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. And here's why. I feel like when you go back and look at Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, you look at his team, like the guy, his running backs, his wide receivers. He was a 3-year starter, and he never played with anyone who mattered, who was any NFL player who mattered. It was basically him and a bunch of college guys in the SEC winning. So in retrospect, it was really impressive what Dak Prescott did in college. He had a lot of experience. He won a lot of games with a lot of college guys. And when he came out in the draft, no one really considered him a starter. They were like, yeah, he's a backup with potential. Backup with potential because he's mobile. And then he was the Senior Bowl MVP. And it's like, oh, maybe he's better if you just give him some playmakers. And then he went to Dallas and started as a rookie and had the greatest offensive line, Ezekiel Elliott, Des Bryant, Jason Witten. It was like, yeah, this guy's a baller. He just needed some playmakers around him. I see that with Mond. I see a guy who started 4 years in the SEC, had no playmakers. If you put him on a team like the Niners, get him out of that RPO spread crap and put him on under center, have him doing play action, I think he could start right away and win. If you put him in Seattle as Russell Wilson's backup and he had to come in next year, I think he could win. That's the way I look at him. I think he is a Dak Prescott 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, he went to A&M, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah, because A&M, that's not like Mike Evans was there, you know, with Johnny Manziel, right? So, I mean, I'll give you that. I saw what I saw at the Senior Bowl, and I don't want that to be the lasting impression that I have of him because, you know, people had bad games all the time too. But, you know, we discussed this. I'm not as high on him. But in the 3rd round, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yes. And again, like, you look at his resume. Like, compare him to Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Like, Trey Lance, you may like his skill set. You may like his traits and his tools, but he has no resume. No. And what Mond has is 4 years of starting experience. And I think that's a lot because I think it's important because I think quarterback is a game of reps. Think about it. Think about if Mond had gone to North Dakota State. I think it would have his highlights would have been really impressive because he was in North Dakota State. If he had gone to BYU, his highlight reel would look amazing. And I think he'd make a lot of the plays that Zach Wilson made. If he had gone to Alabama, I think he would have started over Mac Jones. Think about what it took for Mac Jones to become a starter. I mean, Jalen Hurts had to get benched. Tua had to get hurt. And then after all of that, midway through his junior year, he gets to play. There's a legit chance that guy wouldn't have become a starter until his senior year. He would have been a 1-year player in college, Mac Jones. Same with Trask.
Right.
There's a legit chance that Trask never would have even gotten on the field. If Mond had been at Florida, he would have been the starter for 4 years, and he would have been playing with Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, who's the dude that got drafted by the Rams last year? Anyway,
Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson, yeah. And I think his numbers would have been even better. But if you compare Dak's numbers to Mond's numbers from college, they're very similar. About 9,000 yards passing, almost 2,000 yards running, bunch of touchdowns on the ground through the air. I don't know. That's my guy. So
look, third round, no problem with it. Third round, no problem with it. But but pushing.
And that's what's so intriguing is he's where he's getting projected, right?
Yeah. I mean, he'll definitely be there, right? The Senior Bowl didn't do much. I mean, he won the MVP, but I don't think it did much to push his stock up.
Right.
But in the third round, those are the guys.
Wonderful. Mac Jones at 12, Kellen Mond in the end of the third. Oh, there's no question.
That Mac Jones at 12 is really, really hard to swallow.
And again, with Fields, forget Mac Jones, but same thing with Fields, Trask, and Jones. A year and a half of starting experience. These are guys who might need to sit on the bench, who might benefit from that. I think Fields, what's that?
Fields might be the one that's actually has the best chance.
Because he's just so gifted.
Right. He steps up one big one.
Gifted.
And as much as I've championed, Trey starting, I would love to see him sit 1 year. I would love to see him sit 1 year and learn.
I'd love to see Zach Wilson sit 1 year, dude. You're going from BYU to the NFL. You should maybe 8 games, maybe a half a season. Kellen Mond, I just feel like, dude, you have 4 years against the SEC. The speed of the NFL isn't going to surprise you. What's going to surprise you is what NFL playmakers can do for you, what a coach like Kyle Shanahan can do for you as opposed to Jimbo Fisher.
All right, Grant.
Grant. I'm just trying to make the case. I'll give you this
one. This one, you're swinging me. This is a little good. Yeah.
But I wasn't there at the Senior Bowl, and you saw it, so I don't want you to trust your eyes.
No. Again, no. Third round, perfect. No problem.
Yeah, man. If that's where he's going, because with my master plan, I trade everything until basically the third round comp. So I don't have any way to draft a quarterback unless that's the case. So please. No one talk about Kellen Mond. Let him drop.
That's what people have been telling me about Michael Carter. Stop talking about him. Michael Carter.
I don't even know who that is. Who is
a running back from North Carolina. He's incredible, man. I mean, I know that's not going to help, but I'm talking about him too much on Twitter. They're like, "Can you start saying that he's an undrafted?" Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Completely undrafted. Do not draft him. He's not good.
Trash. All right, Jason, I'm gonna let you go, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for wearing the denim jacket.
Thank you, Grant. I just wanted to show you, that you can drip it out a little bit, and on the East Coast, this is a bit of a staple. I saw Coach NJ on and
he said the same thing, man. He was like, whoa. No, that does look really nice. I like that. I'm gonna have to think about ways to incorporate denim jackets into my fit, and I'm gonna take a picture, rock them one day.
When all this is cleared up and I'm out there in September to go to the games and everything. By then, you should have it figured out, and I'd like to see you in a denim.
Okay, so you're saying it would go well with like an Adidas track sweats?
Yeah, I'm good. So look, I'm good with sweats. I'm good with joggers. I'm just the jean on jean thing. And please, if you're gonna do denim on denim, not the same color denim. That's awful.
Okay.
You see,
not denim on denim.
This is a light pale, right? But you could wear black jeans and get away with it. But I still don't like the denim on denim. I'm not there with the denim.
I also feel like in Cobra Kai, they do a lot of the and I've been like, that's kind of cool. I kind of like it. All right. Thank you for being, you opened my eyes, and I thank you for being so open-minded on my off-the-wall plans, because if it were Leo, I love Leo. Leo would be like,
hey, look, you know
Leo,
what, though? What I've learned, this entire time since, things have started to gotten moving for me is, don't be afraid to fill your cup up with other people's information. And I always am open to that. And, I would want people to be open to my views. So I try to be open that way as well, too.
That's a good expression. I like that. Be willing to open your cup to other people's information. Yeah, I do that. You do that too. I appreciate that about you.
That's why we do.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back at 3 with the round table that almost happened at 11. See you.